Hi, so my name is Annie-Laure. I'm a therapist. I do Chinese medicine and I'm a specialist in balancing yin and yang. And the reason I've chose to collaborate with my dear friends Arnaud and Gisela is because it became clearer and clearer to me through Corona in the last few months and with my patients. I'm a burnout. I deal with people that have this disbalance between their yin and their yang. They're exhausted, their resources. It became clear to me that that's just a symptom of a disbalance within of the feminine and the masculine. But if we look at the way we handle our resources, our mining, the way the corporate world, the mindset of bigger, stronger, more money, growth, is what is the main issues of the world we have today. And there's a lot of initiatives at every level to create sustainability. But that's not enough. To create regenerative solution would be the real way to bring things forward. But how can we create regenerative solution if we don't have within a regenerative attitude with our body? And what does that mean? What does it mean to be in balance within? And what it means is first to reconnect with the feminine within yourself and heal and learn to be as opposed to do. Learn to, in Taoism, the main concept is about allowing what is within your essence to grow like a plant and flourish. Learn to be in that allowing as opposed to forcing things forward. I do, this whole ego thing of I. And as long as we are in this mindset, we will not be able to create regenerative solution. It starts within. And that's why I want to collaborate with Gisela, because she does that through movement. Movement is probably the shortest, more efficient way for anyone to learn to surrender or to learn to embody the change, because we can think the change, but that's not enough. We have to embody the change and embody that flow, that grace, that surrendering. And I think Arnaud, with his heartful method, can lead us into connecting with the heart, because without the heart, without that inner love, that self-love, we cannot tap into really that deep quality that will bring those two energies, those two polarities to come into union. So this is
and that tension that exists between the masculine and the feminine energy that you were describing is a necessary tension on one hand, but then when it is too stretched, that's when the imbalance starts to happen. And all of a sudden you have a masculine that is moving forward very intensely and quickly, let's say, in the direction he's looking at. And then you have the feminine energy that is trying to keep up, but there's so much to handle at the same time that, it doesn't work. And then you get tension, and then you get abuse, and then you get a lot of struggle that unfolds from that. And the same happens in dance, I'm sure. We're having exactly the same proposition happening when two bodies are actually moving together, no?
Beautiful. Beautiful introduction. Thank you, Anne and Arnaud. Yes, we are receiving many clients with the same issue, but I always go back to me. What do I need today in order to feel sustainable, that I can be productive in my day? And my answer is listening. And a lot of listening. And that's what I also teach. And movement has this power and is immediately, because the mind gets out of the way. You cannot control. In movement, you have the truths, at least the way I guide. But how I use to myself is a lot of checking. Listen, what's happened here? There is a feeling now of overwhelming. What is this feeling? I start to listen and communicate, because I think miracles is giving and receiving. communication. It's the ability to speak in gentle way. So the medicine for burnout is have the courage to slow down, first of all. And back to the basics, to your breath, to how you want to move your day. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? Are them attacking thoughts or generous, gentle thoughts? So yes, and you were right, the word is still on the masculine. You have to push, you have to sleep 5 hours, is the stronger, and I decided a long time ago to make another agreement. And I did the agreement with the universe, and I said, I'm not going to be the next burnout. So I take care, and I highly invite all my clients to do every day, to have a routine, to first meet yourself. What's going on with me? What is my body? How I'm breathing? What is the sensations? Is that tension, contraction, or there is expansion? If you look at the body, it's very easy. Contraction is like, I'm not feeling good. This is not okay. I'm in tension. If you breathe, if you expand, it's like, then I can take it.
So in other words, what does that mean? That's a question that arises now. What does it mean for each of you to have that masculine and feminine energy together in concert, right? How does that translate in your experience?
I can answer because I was already on the mood. For me, it comes in rhythm. Okay, the masculine energy has a different rhythm. It's the one I'm gonna act. It's the one I'm gonna sign a contract, make a phone call, get out. Okay, and I feel it this in the rhythm. I feel it this in my dynamics. And the feminine energy for me is like nourishment, including. So how can I do this during the day? How can I balance this two? Which is not, I'm not saying it's an easy formula, because we all have a tendency. We can be too much in the feminine, or in the shadow of the masculine, or in the shadow of the feminine. So if you're in the shadow of the feminine, you have too much water and you don't want to do anything. You are feeling good. You don't want to make the phone call. You postpone. And if you are too much in the masculine, the shadow, you're pushing too hard. So for me, it's very easy. It's mapping, and I knowing exactly through the day where I neglected and how can this both dance. Make sense?
It does.
I'm speaking from movement therapy. I didn't introduce myself first. I'm a movement therapist. I have been dancing my whole life. I studied spirituality, religion. I grew up with a mother who was already healing with hands when I was 8. So my whole life was about the relation between mind, body, heart, soul, and spirit.
Yes, thank you, Gisela. It's a fine line between those two. They're always dancing. But what I tell people, especially women, when they come, I coach, I do therapy, but I also coach people. And often women are in this masculine energy at work. And I tell them that their career, if they stay in the masculine, their career is going to stop at some point, because this is not their true nature. It's almost like you're taking another suit and and you're trying to succeed, but with qualities that are not yours. And at some point, it's gonna break apart. And then we need to learn to nourish a project, nourish a company or a team, as opposed to fight the system. And we've been raised to fight. But the only way to start creating regenerative solutions is to start nourishing new ideas, nourishing possibilities, nourishing team, nourishing relationship, nourishing systems, and doing the dreaming. Because women, we create also we have this fantastic power of visualization and of manifestation, and we can create. We have a uterus, and we're connected with the earth and the ground, and we do the dreaming, but also becoming aware of the thoughts, thoughts we have, and having a vision for our families, for ourselves, for the society, for the future, and becoming that solution. When people say, "Oh, I want to create a regenerative solution, create a community for the new earth," I always tell them, "Well, become that. You are the new earth. Your body is the new earth. So everything you're dreaming and kind of trying to transpose or project on the outside, you have to first apply it to yourself."
Exactly. Go back always.
Or go back to yourself.
Start in us. Go back to your day, actually, to
Exactly.
very basic.
And in Tai Chi, you learn that you learn to push things slowly. This is how we should actually work, like learning this gentleness, but this quality of flow and regularity. If we like this, we kind of completely exhaust ourselves. And so that's where the movement will be very important in this trio, in this collaboration that we're doing, I think, because people need to realize from within what that change means. Because we don't have so much time. I mean, as a collective, we've been burning the candle from both ends. And we all need to stand up and share our medicine right now, so people can switch as quick as possible, so we can have a curve as a collective.
So, in other words,
how do you do, Arnaud? How is for you? How can you support people on this balance?
Well, the first and foremost, I guess, it's helping any person to realize that it is possible. It's not a matter of fact that is intangible and cannot, be modified, I guess. So we can find our balance. It's not that far away. It's a choice, though, obviously. So are we ready to abandon the eternal tension, and therefore anxieties and all that stuff, and therefore also the abuse of oneself, let alone other people, but of oneself in that tension? And are we ready to be at ease and at peace within our center, where both are in harmony with each other, right? So, which is the topic of the work we're doing together, and so living in that center, in that body, in that now moment, where both polarities work together in going in the same direction at the same time, not with lags. Well, we have it as a possibility, but it's obviously and definitely a choice. And I think we believe together, the three of us, that joining the movement that Gisela embodies, the inner connection that Annie embodies too, and offers, and maybe some aspects of the Heartful Method that I'm happy to share and guide people, to give them a visual map of the layout of the land. Well, there is a definite possibility for this to happen. And I guess, it's an invitation that we're getting out there and see how we can work together to becoming it ourselves, so that we can start living it in our experience and then spread it out to others. So I'm very, very happy to be able to share all that to the world and see how we can make it happen together. Thank you very much. Beautiful ladies.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Yes.
Well, see you Sunday.
See you Sunday.